Have you ever wondered why the same trends keep coming back? Military jackets, slip dresses, ballet flats, again and again. These aren't microtrends. Those are cultural echoes. And once you understand why they return, you will never look at fashion the same way. Hi, my name is Sophia. I'm a fashion and culture enthusiast, and I'm so happy to have you here. Now, what I want to do in this video is I want to look at trends that are currently happening and kind of give you a backstory why they are here. And before I'm going into those examples, I'm going to explain to you in a very short version how trend cycles work so you get a better understanding of it. Now, in this video, I'm not talking about microtrends, but about actual trends that keep coming back. It's about bigger overarching trends that we've seen in the same way 20 years ago. And the distinction I want to make here is that microtrends are a very quick response to something cultural happening. For example, a rebellion against something, or because there is a new product and now that's causing a microtrend. For example, the Labubu, even though they've been around for quite some time, but something sparked that trend and then it became a huge thing, but now it's already gone again, right? What I'm talking about is some specific item that keeps coming back cyclically. Now, how do trend cycles actually work? Fashion doesn't move randomly. It usually follows a predictable cycle. A trend usually begins either in high fashion or in subcultures. Then it trickles down to the early adapters. So, for example, the very fashion-forward influencers or celebrities who show everybody the new thing. Then it trickles down to mainstream. And once everyone's wearing it, we're getting tired of it again. And that's when the trend is dying down. Well, no, actually, here's a twist. It doesn't actually die. They just exit the stage and come back at some point again. Because once the trend is ending, it enters a kind of aesthetic hibernation. Not gone, just resting. And when culture shifts again, the industry reopens that archive and revives what feels relevant. Here's why we're also talking about the trend pendulum. And that's because usually we swing from one extreme to the other extreme. So, for example, from super maximalism in the 80s to the 90s minimalism movement. And because of those pendulums and cycles, that's why a slip dress from the 90s or a military jacket from the 60s can feel suddenly modern. The cycle has turned, and the context makes them meaningful once again. The trend cycle isn't about novelty, it's about rotation. And while we are seeing different versions of the item that is coming back, of course, for example, this summer, we saw a lot of mesh ballet flats, whereas in the 2010s, they look completely different. But it's the same product. And the trends that keep coming back more often than others are the ones with strong historical, cultural, or emotional anchor points. Now, I want to give you some exact examples. And for that, I want to start with the military jacket. Military jackets aren't a trend so much as a visual code. Their roots go back to the 19th century, but they became fashion staples in the 60s and 70s when counterculture movements adapted surplus army pieces as a political statement. Designers like Yves Saint Laurent, Balmain, or Burberry reinterpreted them as a symbol of sharp tailoring structure and authority. Today's comeback is tied to our cultural moment. In times of economic and political instability, fashion gravitates towards silhouettes that communicate structure, order, functionality, durability. And the military jacket fits perfectly into this mood. Clean lines, strong shoulders, and an almost architectural structure that signals confidence without shouting. Another trend that was very big, especially in spring-summer, but we've been seeing it in Fashion Month as well, are statement belts. Statement belts have cycled through fashion history again and again, but their core purpose has always remained the same. to define the waist, structure the silhouette, and communicate power. They were iconic in the 80s with the power suits and resurfaced in the 2000s with logomania. Think Dolce & Gabbana and Dior. They also returned in 2010s and 20s minimalism as sleeker corset-style belts. Today's resurgence, I would say, goes back to a shift towards more crafted and intentional dressing. Because after years of very big and oversized dressing, with oversized blazers, oversized pants, belts reintroduce proportion, highlight the body's natural lines, and give that sense of sculptural detail. They're also part of a broader comeback of refined tailoring, as well as structured styling, as we've seen all around Fashion Month. A very interesting piece of clothing I want to talk about next is the slip dress. The slip dress originated from lingerie, but its breakthrough came in the 90s and redefined femininity. Designers like Calvin Klein and John Galliano turned it into a form of effortless sensuality, using bias cuts and fluid fabrics that moved with the body. Its current popularity is tied to a cultural craving to more ease, to clothes that feel more natural, intimate, and unfuzzy. But I also think that it links to the comeback of more conservative values, as it's a very, very feminine thing, I think. And with so many podcasts and videos about finding your divine feminine energy and stuff like that, I think it makes very much sense that the slip dress is coming back. A thing that is also very feminine, I think, is the ballet flat. Ballet flats emerged in fashion in the 1950s when Brigitte Bardot asked Repetto to create a shoe that could move seamlessly from studio to street. And I mean, Repetto ballet flats are the thing also right now. Since then, they've become a symbol for a specific type of femininity. Soft, practical, and rooted in French chic. Today's resurgence blends nostalgia with a demand for comfort. After years of wearing athleisure and chunky sneakers, small ballet flats feel like a return to quiet refinement and to conservatism. Their simplicity fits perfect into our landscape of minimalism, but the ballet core aesthetic that comes with it perfectly fits the feminine and soft aesthetic. Kitten heels are another shoe that came from the 1950s. They rose to popularity as they were used for younger girls to practice walking on heels. But designers quickly adapted them into a chic alternative to stilettos. The low heel became a sign of smart femininity. Last but not least, I want to talk about butter lemon yellow. Because I didn't even know that before I researched for this video, but butter lemon is not just a color that came through TikTok, but it's historically tied to soft luxury. It appeared throughout 90s minimalism in collections by Jill Sander, Prada, and Calvin Klein as a subtle alternative to neutrals. Because the shade also only truly shines on high-quality fabrics such as silk or wool, which is why it has long been linked to wealth and refinement. It's also a pretty feminine color, but without the girliness that comes with a bubblegum pink, for example. A perfect color for the quiet luxury era. Now, I hope you found that somewhat interesting. Let me know in the comments down below if there is another item that you would like a little history lesson about. I would gladly look into it. Now, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye.